Hello everybody, it's Michael from Replica Airgun with a Sig Sauer airgun tabletop review. Today we're looking at the Sig Sauer 1911 Emperor Scorpion Blowback CO2 BB pistol. Now this product is available in both our Canada and US Replica Airgun stores, at least at the time of this video. Availability may vary depending on if we sell out or the stock situation is. Now I haven't done a field test shooting video for this gun exactly, but it is based on the KWC 1911. Cosmetically, it might look a little different since it's Sig branded and has some slightly different, cosmetic attributes to it than some other ones than a base KWC 1911 would. But the parts will be very similar mechanically, internally. So it should perform like pretty much any other KWC 1911 BB pistol that I've tested before. So you can watch a myriad of those videos where I shoot KWC based 1911s. There's lots of them out there in BB and airsoft. So let's get into the specifications. This airgun is blowback operated and has a metal slide and metal frame construction. It uses standard 12-gram CO2 cartridges, shoots 4.5mm steel BBs, has a 16-shot dropout full-size metal magazine, comes in at around 2.1 pounds or 953 grams. I have seen specs online ranging anywhere from 2.1 to 2.5 or 6. It does kind of feel heavier than some other 1911 KWCs. Maybe there's a bit more metal on this one, I don't know. But on Sig's website, it does say 2.1 pounds, and I even believe on the box it does too. Now this gun has a claimed FPS of around 300. I have seen up and around 320 to 330 with these guns in warmer environments. It has a 4.3 inch or 109.2 millimeter smoothbore barrel, has a single action only trigger and hammer. It does have white dot non-adjustable sights front and back with a working ambidextrous safety and a working grip safety. You'll also notice there's a rail for accessories as it's a more tactical version of a 1911. And like the other KWC 1911s, this gun is fully field strippable and is based again on the KWC 1911, so you should be able to mix and match components with other KWC 1911s. Now this gun is made in Taiwan by KWC but distributed by Sig Sauer. If you haven't noticed, it is a fairly realistic version of the real steel Sig Sauer 1911 Emperor Scorpion handgun that would be chambered in .45 caliber ammo. So at this point, we're going to look at some other 1911 guns, and we'll start with some other KWC guns. Now this is the Elite Force 1911. I just wanted to show you this one because it's a TAC version. This is 6mm, but I believe you can get other TAC versions of these KWCs. Well, I know for sure you can, that come in 4.5mm steel BB that look very similar to this, right? So you'll notice it's got, similar grip type style. You got the skeletonized hammer and trigger. Very similar, a little different, but similar. Sig Sauer also has another KWC based 1911, and this is the We the People 1911. Okay, so really nice gun. I've reviewed this one before. Really nice, has actually metal grips, and this is based off their We the People 1911 45 that Sig sells. So that you should be able to actually literally mix and match a lot of the parts between these two guns if you wanted to, and I'll show you later on that we can mix and match. We can actually take the magazine out of one and put it in the other because they're pretty much the same. Lastly, I'll show you another Sig gun. This is a different version of the gun. I'm not sure. I think it might be actually made in Japan, but it's different in that it has a stick mag. But this is the Max Michael or Max Michel 1911. Okay, it's not a full blowback, but it is a blowback gun. I have reviewed this gun as well. But I just wanted to show you another Sig Sauer 1911. There's also the 1911 Spartan, which is very similar to this gun mechanically, but has different cosmetic features. All right, so at this point I want to show you the box. This is the box that it comes in. So it doesn't come in a clamshell, which is nice, right? You have some information on the box, a little bit on the back here. So what do we have here? Talks about the CO, being CO2, 4.5mm, 16 rounds, 4.3 inch barrel. I didn't actually mention the full length. It's typical 1911, 8.7 inches. Blowback, semi-auto, there's that 2.1 pounds. So we'll go with 2.1 pounds, even though I've seen different weights on other website specifications. And here's the muzzle velocity up to 300 FPS. I have a feeling we'll get slightly higher, but 300 FPS is just fine for a blowback, basically plinker, if you want to call it that. Inside the box, you're going to get an Allen key, and some BBs, okay? You're also going to get the manual. Basic information comes in a couple languages. Because I'm in Canada, it'll come in English and French. So you have operating safety instructions, how to load the magazine, make sure to use the grip safety, right? Some magazine information, right? How to load it, right? Safety target, how to aim it. There's a little sort of parts diagram, okay? How to field strip this air gun, troubleshooting, and then I believe, yeah, okay, well this one is just in English. All right, so let's take a look around this gun here, right? It's really nice. Probably one of my, I always say this when a new 1911 comes out, I say, oh, one of my favorite KWC 1911s, but you know, I really like the two-tone. I love the Sig branding. I love, it's just sort of looks and feels a little chunkier than most. I don't know why. You notice the recessed barrel, the white dot sights. It's right, you know, this is right in the slide, right? So all the branding and everything, it's not just like printed on, okay? You've got the skeletonized trigger, right? You've got the skeletonized hammer. Now I do want to note that the real steel hammer, or yes, the real steel hammer is slightly larger, that opening. It's a little more rounded. That's really the only difference than when I looked at the actual real steel version online that I could tell. But I mean, in terms of the magazine, the butt plate and everything, it's all very realistic and true to the real steel version. You do have some warning instructions here, but they're very, you know, discreet underneath there. You're not going to see them offhand too much, right? There's your white dot sights in the back, your working grip safety, right? Ambidextrous safety, okay? Left and right. You got some more branding there, serial number. Now that is printed on, okay? You do have this really nice black extractor, two-tone. Just feels and looks chunkier than a lot of other 1911s. So, like for instance, it's different. Like normally the KWC 1911s don't have that big extractor. And so that really adds, you know, they obviously, Sig wanted to replicate the real steel version as much as possible. So I'm sure they worked with KWC to make sure cosmetically it looked more true to the real steel version. So kudos to them, okay? Really like it. Let's just take a look at this magazine. So to give you an example here, these magazines are essentially the same other than this, basically this butt plate extension. That's really all it is, okay? It's just an extension added onto it. Nothing, no biggie. But you notice it fits right in there, right? And that one go forward, there it is. It's a little bit weird because this magazine is actually from an airsoft version, so it's maybe not going to work quite the same. But yeah, there you go. Right? Okay. So at this point, I'm going to do a quick field strip. Shouldn't be too difficult. So as with, you know, all these 1911s, you just take the mag out first. You want to line that up there, right there. You want to push it from the other side, pull this out, and then your gun comes apart. Now, I could remove the barrel bushing and take the spring out and remove all of that internals if I wanted to. Interesting. Let's see if there's a hop-up adjustment. Quite often on the airsoft version, there will be a hop-up adjustment, but not on the steel BB version. But there's usually kind of a hop-up thing going on inside because there's going to be a little rubber bar, I guess you want to call it, on the inside of the barrel that stops the BB from rolling forward. And so when you shoot the gun, that rubber bar that goes across the top of the barrel, again, just has enough pressure on the BB so it doesn't roll out, but it does create a little bit of backspin, allowing for some hop up and for that BB to sort of backspin and just like a tennis ball, kind of stays flying in a more level plane rather than an arc. All right, so let's put this back together. Okay. There it is. It's so easy to field strip these guns, right? All right. All right, so at this point, we're going to go over some pros and cons. I like that it's based on the tried and true KWC 1911. Now, most parts should be mix and match interchangeable. So if you have other KWC 1911s, and let's say you want to just change things around, maybe use a magazine from a different gun, or maybe grips from a different gun, or that kind of thing, you can do that. It's nice that it has the full blowback operation. Also has that expected excellent single action only 1911 trigger, nice and short. I'll just show you that real quick again, just because it's so nice. So look at this, right? Just nice and short. And the take up and the reset is very short. Again, you're going to find full metal construction, has a great realistic weight to it. It also includes easy to see white dot sights front and back with mostly tactical ambidextrous controls. You'll notice there's a rail for adding on accessories like a laser or tack light. And it has that recessed barrel that just adds to the realism of the gun. Personally, I like the two-tone color scheme a lot. And as expected, this is a Sig Sauer distributed gun, so it does have the Sig Sauer licensing throughout. And it does look virtually identical to the real steel Sig Sauer 1911 Emperor Scorpion, other than the hammer, which is just a little thinner here. Again, the actual hammer on the real steel version is just a little bit thicker, so that's more rounded instead of oval. All right, just a couple cons. There's really not too much negative to say about this gun. It's going to go through CO2 fairly quickly because of the full blowback operation, which does also lower the velocity to around 300 FPS. Again, I'm going to expect just over 300 to 330 using a brand new CO2 in a warmer environment. All right, again, this gun is available in our Canada and US replica airgun store, so if you're interested in it, check out the links in the description. I'll also put a link to the written post over at replicairguns.com so you can check out the written review along with additional photos. If you're interested in other products, we have both our Canada and US online replica airgun store over at replicairguns.ca for Canada and replicairguns.us for the US, where you'll find air guns, BB guns, airsoft guns, pellet guns, blank guns, and a bunch of accessories. All right, thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe before you head out. Also check us out on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Until next time, take care.